Yeah, those are stupid.
Hello?
Why are you yelling that people are stupid?
That was my Dave Ramsey.
Oh, yeah, but people don't get that joke. They don't know the joke.
You just kept moving.
Of course I did.
You didn't allow me. People do get it. What does Dave say all the time? Yeah, come on.
But if they don't, okay, all right. I don't need to explain it to you. Yeah. It's not going to work. No. Deaf ears. So now that you're grumpy old man, everybody gets my humor all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like to stop unless I can get to that Vegas show.
Yeah, what are you doing over there?
Well, I'm just wondering how you're going to be when it comes to what Mesa Public Schools is doing now.
What are they doing?
They're going to offer classes on being an influencer.
That's stupid. Why would they do that? All seriousness, I saw this last night. No, the Broomhead already gave me that line earlier today. Him and I were talking about it. And I argued for this.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened between then and when we spoke about it in rehearsal? Because you were kind of like, no.
I just told you. I'm gonna give you the debrief again now.
All right.
I thought about this last night, and I was like, this is a terrible idea.
Okay.
We're going to have kids all grow up to aspire to sling products and think that they're going to be the next Kim Kardashian. And the reality is it's not going to pan out for any of them. Stupid. Terrible idea.
Okay.
And then I got to be thinking, oh, no, you're writing notes down over there. This never ends well for me. It ends up in the boss's office.
That's all right. Go ahead.
So aspiring to be an influencer is a lot like a pro basketball player, Chris. That's what I wanted to grow up to be. And who knew that a kid who was barely 5 feet in 8th grade moving into high school wouldn't make it as a pro basketball player. But I thought deeper, and I was like, you know what? Just like I wanted to be a pro basketball player, influencer, same thing. You can learn some tremendous life skills. Basketball players, teamwork, pushing yourself harder, growth through defeat. Those are all skills that you can learn as a basketball player. So we shouldn't stop kids from wanting to grow up to play sports, things like that. Influencers, same thing. So you've got marketing, brand development, communication were some of the things that I jotted down. Now, those are the careers, though, to me. Communications, brand development, marketing, things like that. Whereas influencer, yes, I understand it is a career, but it is much more narrow cast. So I like that they're taking in this class because it will give them an opportunity to pick up on some of those life skills, and it may open doors to, hey, maybe I want to get into marketing, brand development, something like that, and they'll give up their, or perhaps, how do I want to say?
Dreams?
No, I don't want them to give up their dreams, Chris. I want them to have a more realistic goal and something that is much more attainable. Very few influencers out there, a lot more marketers. Because those are what the careers really are. Not so much influencer. It's more about those other things. So think more broad-based and think about the hireable skills. And if you get those through a class on influencing, great. Then I'm on board for it.
Okay.
So at first, though, I was very dumb. Bad idea.
Because it's new, and new is scary.
Well, and
it sounds like something that doesn't appeal to you or your generation, and it's different, and it sounds like something kids would want to do.
Okay.
Right.
But as I think about it, I also think there's not a lot of influencers who really are successful out there. I guess we have to quantify what a lot are. A few thousand people doing it, not nearly as like marketers. Marketing is a skill that you can take and work for pretty much any company out there.
Right. But back to your wanting to be a pro athlete comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly, same kind of thing. You can take some skills from wanting to be an influencer that can lead to a great career.
Okay. Should your high school have allowed fewer kids on the basketball team and insisted on more kids being basketball managers, running the concession stand, or becoming athletic trainers?
Oh, don't worry. I did not make the basketball team in high school either.
I'm not asking about you. I'm just saying schools offer extracurricular activities for a number of kids who learn these skills, which I agree with you are applicable in other aspects of life.
Yeah, but lots of kids get cut from the basketball team. They don't make it. Yeah.
Right. So should we cancel that program? No, of course not. Which is why the influencer thing, while you're saying it's too narrow cast, that's not a fair comparison. And I'll give you another reason. Let me make a better point here. How many people? Point? Yeah.
Okay.
So how many people on the other side of our wall here at the studio? On the other side of our studio is the sports studio from Arizona Sports. How many people that are in and around that had at one point dreams of being a major leaguer.
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably all
most of them.
Yeah, exactly. But they still matriculated to an adjacent profession.
Mm-hmm.
While they may not be on the field.
Yeah.
Right. And you obviously couldn't cut that either, and so you get stuck with me.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Concession price.
Yep.
So, my point is that while you may be narrowcasting, I want to be a professional athlete, what you are doing is putting your foot in the door for the entire profession. And by that, when we say that there's an influencer class and we want to overreact and say, oh, I can't believe Mesa Public Schools is catering to the kids these days, don't think of it as a vanity class. Think of it as an aspect of digital training for the future. Mm-hmm. Is there any doubt that the future of our entire economy will be reliant on technology? No. And an awful lot of that is going to be carried around on that 3-inch by 5-inch device that's in your pocket. So the more that you have skills related to that little device, practical skills to that device, beyond just the marketing and branding and communication, which incidentally, I wrote all of those things down myself as skills they need to be teaching.
Yeah.
I also think the technical aptitude that you would learn in that class is going to be essential. And that means things like video editing. That means videography. And also when it comes to the influencer course, you're right to say marketing and branding. I'm also going to throw sales in there as well. I'm going to say networking, which is going to be essential in any business model.
Sure.
And public speaking.
So Jennifer Eccles, who's the director of teaching and learning at Mesa, she said, there was a time in my life when I would have laughed at it being a viable career.
Yeah.
And I like this part so much. She says, quote, it's kind of like as a parent when you slip the veggies in the lasagna. We're slipping a lot of standards into this class that I think it'll be very appealing to our teenagers. That's the key.
Yes.
Weave these things into it. Focus less on the, you can have 100,000 followers and sling sports
makeup
bras.
Or whatever. Sports bras.
Yeah. Whatever that product may be, and make it more about those other skills. And hey, if that's the sexy piece that they see that woos them and they get these other life skills, I'm thrilled. I'm happy for it.
I think there are some other skills that they're going to pick up here. And one of them that I wrote down, aside from relationship building, because you have to do that as part of your networking, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say also analytical thinking. And I think all too often when we come to marketing, marketers will say, well, we have to make sure we've got the right message and we have to make sure we're approaching the audience. And branders will say, what is going to be sticky and this sort of thing. But I think it's also important to understand what is an influencer. What does that mean? Does it mean that you are a sales rep? Does it mean that you are Billy Mays? Is he an influencer? No, he's dead. But you know what I mean? Are you a carnival barker?
You're a product representative.
Or are you changing social attitudes, influencing the way that people think? Now, that could be about a product, but it could also be about something much more. So there may be an aspect of activism. What is an influencer? You may have to do some analytical thinking, and it's something you and I have conversations about all the time off the air, and that is, what is the lane? What is our lane? What is it that we're doing that others are not? What is the hole that we're filling? Being able to recognize what those lanes are, what those holes are that need filling, means finding opportunity. You can't do that without analysis. And I think that's necessary too. And then, of course, you have to figure out why are some tactics working and others are failing. That comes back to the branding and making things sticky.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.